How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the Raiders Daily Podcast. I apologize, this was supposed to be up on Monday, but due to editing issues and not publishing it, it didn't come out. But that is a good thing because we have more news, so I figured I would edit a few things and throw it all together. So first off, let's talk about the latest Raiders transactions. First of all, you know they signed Theo Reddick. He's a running back. He played for Detroit, I believe. But, I don't know what's going on with that whole situation other than I doubt he makes the team unless he does something spectacular. This guy was sitting on his couch last season. So I just don't see this guy doing much. Now, I know he's going up against Booker for the job. I've been on record saying I don't think Booker will make the team. I really don't. Stanback is gone. He's not making it. So the Raiders have Jalen Richard, Josh Jacobs, Alec Ingold. Does Rod Smith make the team? Let's see. I mean, that running back spot is still up in the air there. You know the starter, obviously. You know they have Alec Ingold. Jalen Richard, I doubt they're going to cut just because he knows the system, even though I do know the coaches do not trust his hands. But there's some, that was the latest transaction. They had one today. They signed another defensive end, which, by the way, I mean, they signed some defensive ends here. What's his name? Sheriff Finch. I don't know who this guy is. Sharif Finch, I should say. Used to play for the Tennessee Titans, I believe. They also signed Chris Smith, used to play for Cleveland, both defensive ends. We'll see what happens with that. They signed Donton Jones. Listen, I don't know what they're going to do here. They end up cutting the other guy there. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but they cut him in a corresponding move. So it's going to be very interesting. They're obviously looking for something, some kind of pass rush. That's what's going on here. Before we get into what the Raiders have been doing in training camp, who's been standing out, who has not been, I will break it all down for you from various reports and people I've spoken to. I am not in Las Vegas. I wouldn't go if you paid me, to be honest. I'm not doing what those poor reporters have to do. That's just terrible. Can you imagine? Every time they go and watch that practice, which they hardly get to see anything anyways relevant, they have to take those COVID tests every single day. It's just nonsense. There's really no point, especially when I can sit home and get the same information. But anyways, the Raiders have been making all of these moves for these defensive ends, pretty much guys you never even heard of. Meanwhile, Clowney still available, but he's got to go down on his price. He wanted $20 million. That's not realistic. Would the Raiders take him? Yes, but he would have to take a 1-year deal, and it would be money up front. It would be a gamble. Hey, they're in Las Vegas. He should take that gamble. He really should. But until he goes down on his price, it's never going to happen. And yes, obviously, Yannick is still out there. The Raiders did try, if you remember during the draft, to trade for him, but they would not give a first-round pick. And then it got all messy. They did talk after the draft. That was the plans originally when they couldn't get a deal together. They were going to try to talk after the draft. They did talk after the draft. It didn't really get reported. The only place that I think it got reported was the greatest place in the world, the Raiders Daily Elite subscription service on Facebook, which is my group, where you really get the good gossip. And it's just the best place in the world. I can't really say much about it other than that. If you don't believe me, ask the members. You see things you would never see anywhere else. Anyways, moving on. So they're looking for a defensive end. They want more pass rush, and they need it. I mean, they got Max Crosby. The guy had 10 sacks last season. If you remember, they did sign Carl Nassib. But is he, he hasn't been lighting the world on fire either. There's one position they got better in on defense, and that's a linebacker. But they're still looking for another linebacker, if you notice. They're still out there looking for someone. I mean, they've been signing linebackers, same deal, you know. They signed Bryce Hager, recently. I don't see him making a team, but we shall see. Nicholas Morrow, I think, has been I know for a fact he's been pretty consistent in training camp. Now, let's get to the big news before I start talking about training camp and all that noise. Tyrell Williams has a torn labrum. That's not good. It's not good. I'm telling you that right now. You got to remember, that kind of injury, that affects you pretty much holding your hands up, catching a football. So, I mean, he thinks he's going to play through it, but that is early. I'm going to caution you right now. There is a chance that Tyrell Williams does not recover in time. There is a chance this guy's out for 8 weeks. We just don't know because it's so early, but I'm telling you that is not a good injury. The good news, though, Tyrell Williams was dropping passes last season and he had problems with his foot. I mean, now he has problems. He has a torn labrum. That's going to be another excuse for dropping passes. He cost $11 million. But the good news is they have a guy in camp right now that they just drafted that looks a lot better than Tyrell Williams, and his name is Bryan Edwards. Every single day, this team is in padded practice. That's the only practice John Gruden cares about. Every single day, I hear from someone that Bryan Edwards looks amazing. This guy does not have an off day. I hear about a lot of players having an off day. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. But not Bryan Edwards. He's consistent. He's good, and I'm telling you, he's going to make this team, and he is going to be a starter, especially if Tyrell Williams is out. He is going, I think, heading into the season either way, torn labrum or not with Tyrell Williams, Bryan Edwards was going to steal his job. Now it just seems like it's already a foregone conclusion. This guy's going to snatch that dude's job, I'm telling you. Bryan Edwards looks fantastic. Same thing with Ruggs, by the way. Ruggs looks very, very good. Now, I will say this, though. Ruggs is very fast. He looks really good in camp. And all of that noise. All of that. That is all true. This guy has looked absolutely fantastic. But we gotta slow down with him. There's been a lot of media hype around him. With anonymous team sources that, Ruggs is going to be what John Gruden wanted Antonio Brown to be and things like that. Well, that's not going to happen. I hate to break news to you. Just because you got to remember, Ruggs is a rookie. Antonio Brown was a veteran. Okay? So there's a difference there. Yes, there's some similarities where, Ruggs is fast and he can take the top off. But Gruden had a whole bunch of plans for Antonio Brown. He had a whole bunch of plans. So it's not like Ruggs, okay, we're just going to give the playbook that we had for Antonio Brown to Henry Ruggs. That's not the way it's going to work. So I guess that came out of Bleacher Report, which is mostly lies anyways. I hate to break the news to anyone who reads Bleacher Report and thinks it's, legit all the time. Sometimes it is, but most of the time it's not. And that's what I'm here to tell you. I'm here to separate the BS with the truth, okay? And that's just what it is. If you wanted me to, I could just go down and read you every single reporter and tell you for a fact that what I know, if they are legit or they're just making up sources. A lot of people do that nowadays. That's why I don't call myself a reporter. I'm an analyst, I'm a podcast host, and I'm the best in the world, and that's why you're listening, because knowledge is better and way more important than grammar when it comes to football. And that's what I provide for all of you listening right now. So anyways, Ruggs, yes, the guy is fast. He is really good. Is he going to get over 100 catches this season? I don't know. Only time can tell. Okay? So we're going to go over who has been looking very good in camp so far. Derek Carr. Look at me. I am praising Derek Carr. Now, this guy has looked amazing in camp. He has been doing exactly what he is supposed to be doing. Getting the ball out of his hands fast, making good decisions. That is what he is supposed to do. But I don't think I need to be throwing a party for him or throwing, patting him on the back and saying, yeah, you go get him. You already got paid $120 million, dude. You should be doing that. In fact, you should have a couple playoff wins under your belt. For $120 million, you should have a ring on your finger, a Super Bowl ring. But don't get me started with that. Hopefully this season, this is the year he can do it. He certainly has the weapons to do it. Certainly. Darren Waller has been unstoppable in training camp. No one can cover him. Renfro has looked very, very good. I already told you, Bryan Edwards, forget about it. Even, the alligator, Nelly. I guess Mike Mayock spoke about him today. I honestly haven't listened to it yet. But he has been looking pretty good in camp. Now, I'm not really sold on him, but so far in camp, he has looked good. Zay Jones, I guess, looks okay. Mike Mayock, I guess, from what I read right here, said something about Zay Jones looks really, really good. Remember, Mike Mayock is a general manager now. He's going to lie about some things. Zay Jones, though, does have a better chance of making the team now. Last season, remember the Raiders gave up, I believe, a 5th-round pick for this guy. So they're hoping, obviously, this guy can work out and be good. Last year was a debacle. He was terrible. But he looked like he had potential. Going into the season before this Williams injury, I had Zay Jones getting cut. But now with the injury, Zay Jones may make the team. So their wide receivers are all set. And we're not even talking about Foster Monroe, who I think is going under the radar this season. I think it's going to be the breakout tight end of the NFL. I really do. This guy has the potential to do it. And they also got old man Witten. Does he have one more year left in him? One more year. I mean, that's 3 tight ends that are really, really good. They can all catch the football. Derek Carr has so many weapons. And plus you got Josh Jacobs. This dude plays with one arm and he's still dominating out there. So they're all looking good. That whole offense, basically, is looking very, very good. They're going to have no problems. So as far as the rookies go in camp, the only one I get a little bit worried about from the things I have heard is about Lynn Bowden Jr. The reason why is because he is smaller than the rest of these guys. And he's been getting hit hard out there in pads. They're trying not to kill him, but, he's got to work on his blocking for one. I mean, guys are just running right through him. We don't want Derek Carr to make mistakes. We also don't want Derek Carr to be getting sacked or getting killed and coughing up the football and fumbling. And so when Lynn Bowden, if he's out there, because he's going to be in special packages and things like that, he's got to learn how to block a little bit because he can't handle blocking. He's not strong enough. He's getting pushed aside and he's going to get Derek Carr killed eventually. Speaking of quarterbacks, we'll talk about the bad too a little bit here. Marcus Mariota, he hasn't really been good. His short passes are terrible. They really are. He does have good chemistry with Bryan Edwards, though. I should say that. He does have good chemistry with him, but still, his short passes I guess, look terrible. So, I don't know, man. I mean, that's the guy they have. He can run the ball. I wish. If only Derek Carr could have Marcus Mariota's legs, then Derek Carr would be a complete quarterback. Because we really need Derek Carr to be a good quarterback this season, guys. All right? I've been covering this team for a long time. You guys need a winner. You guys need a winning team. And it starts with the $120 million man under center, Derek Carr. Because if he plays well, the Raiders win football games. So we shall see. And there is no excuses this season. There is none. Like I said, the Raiders offense, they needed speed, they needed talent, and I gotta tell you, this is the most talented offense the Raiders have had in I don't know how long. Now, we will see how these rookies play when it actually counts on Sundays. But as it looks right now, this team just looks like really good on offense. They really do. So when they open up their season against Carolina Panthers, they're probably going to score 40 points off that team. That's the way it's looking right now. On defense, I got to tell you, man, Damon Arnett, the guy that I thought the Raiders should not draft in the first round, I'm on record saying it. I'm always truthful with all of you guys, even when I am wrong, even though technically I might not be wrong yet. I hate drafting cornerbacks in the first round, but Damon Arnett has been doing his job. He has been looking very good out there. He really has. The only time he's really struggled is when he had to go up against Darren Waller. That's kind of expected. Darren Waller's the best tight end in the National Football League. I don't care what anyone says. So, he's looking really good. In fact, we got Prince over there. This guy, I don't think has been looking that amazing. I really don't. Now, it looked like it was all set with the cornerbacks. But who knows? Who knows? There might be a chance here that you're watching the game and you see Arnett on one side and Mullins on the other. There's a very good chance of that. Now, you also got guys like Nevin Lawson right now who are fighting for a job. That's the truth. Nevin Lawson fighting for a roster spot. The biggest area, like I said, linebackers. That's going to be an interesting one. Okay, that's going to be a very, very interesting one. Kwiatkowski, I keep saying his name wrong. He looks amazing, by the way. You got Corey Littleton. He's doing some good things. Either way, those guys are set. I mean, that's pretty much the two main linebackers. After that, you got Nicholas Morrow. They're not really set at linebacker. I already told you that. They don't know what's going to, after those two guys, you got Morrow. And then I got to tell you, you got Tanner Muse. But Tanner Muse, I'll be honest with you guys, he struggled a lot early. And I just don't think he's going to be out there on offense. I think you'll see him on special teams. I don't see him being that guy who's playing linebacker a lot on Sundays. I really don't. Not right now, unless something changes, unless he picks it up. But right now, as we stand, Tanner Muse is going to be more of a special teams guy. But then when you look down at the roster, you got guys like Kyle Wilbur. I mean, this is pretty much special teams is his thing. So the Raiders are going to have tough decisions. But this is what I can tell you right now. Oh, yeah, and plus, speaking of their secondary, you got Isaiah Johnson. Basically didn't get to play last season. He's looked okay in training camp so far. I think, I hope they just don't send him to the practice squad and they give Lawson a job over him. But we know it's Gruden. We know he's going to want a vet there. But he already has the LaMarcus Joyner, who looks like he's already penciled in to beat a nickel corner. And, Joyner, this guy hasn't played well since 2017. I mean, this guy's last season, his tackling was terrible. His coverage skills were terrible. He's got to get better. And it's not like, he had a couple practices where he looked okay. He looked like a little, better. But still, he's still a liability. This guy, to me, the Raiders really can't do anything about it because, the money situation. They rolled a dice on him and they lost. It looks like so far. Hopefully, we can get the 2017 edition of LaMarcus Joyner and that defense can really put something together. But what I do know is the Raiders really want to get more pass rush on that defense. Yes, I know the story of pretty much of like beat reporters and things like that. They've been pumping up this this white, obviously undrafted free agent out of UNLV. He's from Oakland. Everyone wants to see him make the team, but will he? If this was a normal off season, I would say probably. But with no preseason games, it's so hard to make the team as an undrafted free agent. So, I don't know. I see a lot of people who cover the Raiders are just throwing him in there as, the third linebacker. That's a dangerous move to play this early. I'm just letting you know. That's a really dangerous move. Now, it's not really that early. We're really approaching, the deadline here for the season. But still, I mean, we got to see a couple more practices before we say that he's definitely going to make the roster. That's the truth. And that's all I can tell you. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh, Javon White's making the team. Because that would be a lie. Because I don't know that personally. I do know he has impressed the coaches. I do know he has made spectacular plays, great tackles, good instincts. I know that for a fact. But so has Nicholas Morrow. The only problem with Nicholas Morrow, and this is the truth, and I dare you to tell me I am wrong. Nicholas Morrow was not drafted by John Gruden. And John Gruden wants his own guys. That is a fact. When he came in as the head coach, he even said it to people. He wanted his own players. He did not want Reggie McKenzie rejects. By the way, I mean, the reason why the Raiders are bad, have been bad, is because of Reggie McKenzie and his drafting. His drafting has been terrible. Terrible. I mean, John Gruden's drafting, we gotta wait and see. It's looking pretty good with Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, Clinton Farrell, another guy, by the way, that looks like they're not going to let him play defensive end. They're going to put him at defensive tackle because he's gotten bigger and they just like him better there. I think it's weird. I'm not going to lie. I think they should give him another year to try to be a defensive end. You used the 4th overall pick to get this dude, and now you're just going to put him at defensive tackle. Also, Jonathan Hankins, he's been looking pretty damn good. Good run stuffer. That's what the Raiders need. Malik Collins, who Rod Marinelli wants to be pretty much the anchor of that defensive line. He had his up and down days. He definitely hasn't looked like, the best defensive tackle in National Football League by any means. In fact, I mean, I've heard more good things about Clinton Farrell playing defensive tackle than Collins. That's the truth. Mo Hurst, up and down. That's the truth. That is the truth. Like I said, I'm going to tell you what's good and what's bad. But the defense overall, from what I have been hearing and what I have been told and what I have watched, they are better than last season. But they do want more pass rush. So I would not be shocked at all if Clowney, went down on his price a lot and the Raiders got him for 1 year. It wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't. But like I said, he would have to go down on his price. And they do want more pass rushers. Which brings me to the next guy, which, again, it's training camp, and we're talking about practice, like the great Allen Iverson once said. We're not talking about a game here, we're talking about practice. But Arden Key has been lighting it up in practice. He had a great hit on Bowden, however you want to say his name. A fantastic hit. I mean, this guy, Arden Key, is getting right after the quarterback. He really is. Now, he struggles when he goes against Colton Miller sometimes. But when they put him on the other side, remember, Trent Brown hasn't been practicing that much. That's because of his injury last season. The Raiders are not risking anything, especially now after what just happened with Tyrell Williams. They're not risking anything. Trent Brown knows what the hell he's doing. The guy doesn't even need to practice. He's been working out. He's in shape. He'll be ready to go. They just don't want to hurt. They don't want anything bad to happen. But Sam Young, the veteran who's been in there, Arden Key, he's been beating that guy a few times, man. He's been getting after him, and his tackling has been so much better this season. Or this season for practice anyways, in training camp. Like I said, Sundays might be a different story. We might see the same Arden Key who, just can't get the quarterback down. A lot of people are confused, by the way, with Arden Key. They think the Raiders wanted Arden Key to add weight, when in fact, they never wanted him to add weight. The only thing they wanted Arden Key to do is to get stronger, to lift more, to physically get stronger. That's what they wanted from him. And that's what he did. He did get stronger. And maybe that's all what he needed. They wanted him to get stronger and not lose his speed. They didn't want him to get bigger, like add more weight bigger and get fat, because then he would lose his speed. So a lot of people get confused by that. I see that on Twitter all the time, even by reporters who say that, by the way. They don't know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. But the good news is, Arden Key's looking better. You got Max Crosby, who I know for a fact has gotten a lot stronger since last season. Maybe he has another big year. This team is looking pretty good. The quarterback's looking good. The running game is looking good. Like I said, Richard's doing his job, for the most part. Booker is too. I knew Jeremy Hill wasn't going to work out. Like I said, I don't believe Theo Riddick is going to work out. Well, Rod Smith, I don't know. I know the Raiders thought highly of him at first because Cable thinks he can block good and things like that. We shall see. I think we might see another running back come in. I told you guys, I think last week, we're going to see a lot of rotating players. Guys coming in, guys getting cut. Guys coming in, guys getting cut. That's exactly what you are seeing now. That is not going to end. It's going to continue to happen all week long. I promise you. But for the most part, like I said, very high grades on offense for Bryan Edwards. Even the Alligator, a high grade on him. Henry Ruggs has been he's pretty damn good. And, he's learning. There's going to be plays where he does get to take a top off and just go for a streak. But most of the times, he's probably going to do some slant passes. And this offense is designed for yards after the catch, okay? So that's what these guys can provide. They have no shortage of weapons on offense. So they are going to be fine. Like I said, all good grades for them. They really have been. They really been good. The two guys I will say is offensive line that I think I think their jobs are in trouble. That's Brandon Parker and David Sharp. And what do those two guys have in common? Reggie McKenzie guys. Coincidence? I think not. But anyways, that's it. I mean, that's all we really got. Like I said, Tyrell Williams, that's a bad injury. That's something we will keep our eyes on. And then next week, we'll be right back here discussing what happens. I guarantee you we'll probably be talking about who else the Raiders just signed, because there's going to be more. And hopefully these practices go well. Arnett at cornerback keeps playing this good, because I don't trust this Prince dude. I told you guys that already. I would prefer Lawson at this point. But if they have to keep a vet, because we know it's Gruden, Paul Gunther, he's entering this season on the hot seat. We all know that. So this defense has to play better, because this offense is going to play better. There is no way this offense doesn't play better. So it's good news. And like I said, Bryan Edwards, it's not a secret. There's teams, there's general managers and scouts all around the NFL right now that are talking about Bryan Edwards. They see the little highlights. They talk to other scouts. A lot of people talk, okay? That's the bottom line. And Bryan Edwards is looking amazing right now. Hopefully it translates on the field when real games start. But right now, I mean, this guy's pretty much, guys are having a hard time covering him, to be honest. They're having a hard time covering him. So the Raiders do got to fix that, figure out the secondary depth chart. They got to figure out the linebacker depth chart. And the offensive line, it's pretty much set. And then, of course, you got the defensive line. P.J. Hall got released. The guy was too out of shape. I don't even know where the hell that guy is right now. Somewhere. Texans, I think. So, defensive line. I know they want another pass rusher. They did. That is true, by the way, about the linebackers. They did talk to Michael Kendricks, who I think is facing jail time. So the Raiders could sign another vet linebacker somewhere. But like I said, they already signed this Hager guy. I don't know if he's anything special. We shall see. But anyways, very good week of practice. Very productive. Remember, don't believe everything John Gruden says to the media. Don't believe what Mike Mayock says to the media. Because, remember, it was John Gruden who once told all of you guys and all of those reporters that Keon Hatcher was going to make the team. And, come on. Come on now. The guy knows how to play the media. And he knows he's never going to tip his... he would be stupid to tell everyone the truth, what he really feels. That's why you listen to me. And, well, if you're smart, you join the greatest place in the world, the Raiders Daily Elite on Facebook. How you do that, you just message me. But anyways, that's it for me for now. I will see you guys next week. We're doing this every week. This is a weekly show. All throughout the season, the Raiders Daily is back. My name is Stephen Michaels. Thank you for listening. I will see you next week with an all brand new episode.